Hi, my name is Helene Segura. I am a certified professional organizer and owner of LivingOrder San Antonio. I'm also on the team of experts at clutterdiet.com. Today we're going to talk about how to plan for and pack for travel. Whether for business or pleasure, it's important to know who you're going to travel with and what their travel styles are. For instance, if you are sharing a room with a colleague, it's important to know if that person is a late riser or an early riser to make sure that you have similar travel schedules. If you're traveling for pleasure, it's very important to know that other person's travel style. For instance, that person may want to shop all day while you want to see museums all day. And if you're friends, you may end up losing that friendship because of fights. It's also important to talk about budget because money is very important to a lot of people, so you want to make sure that you are on the same wavelength as far as how much money you'd like to spend on hotel, sightseeing, food, and transportation. Once you know your travel destination, who you're going with, and what your budget is, it's time to start researching that destination so you know what hotels to stay in and what sites to see. One easy way to do research is, of course, on the internet. There are many travel sites out there. A good one is TripAdvisor.com. There also are your traditional books. There are plenty of travel books in any bookstore, or you can get them online. And these are some examples that we have of travel books. There's the Let's Go series, which is designed primarily for backpackers, but even if you're not backpacking, it has good information about destinations. The Lonely Planet is another good travel book series for countries outside of Europe. And our favorite travel books for Europe are the Rick Steves series. He offers a wide variety of tips for people from backpackers all the way up to 5-star hotels. Another favorite book of ours is 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. It's important to do research on your destination country so that way you can learn about the culture and customs so as not to offend any of the locals. It's very helpful if you can pick up a few beginner phrases because the locals very much appreciate the fact that you are trying to communicate with them in their language instead of assuming that the rest of the world knows English. Another important cultural point is also to learn the religion of the country. So that way, whether you're talking with the locals or trying to enter a local religious establishment, you're dressed appropriately and follow the appropriate customs. For instance, if you are traveling to a country that's predominantly Islamic, it's important to know that women are covered from head to toe. This includes wearing a scarf over the head, wearing long sleeves, and making sure that all skin is covered. International travel does require documentation to leave the country and also to re-enter. If you're traveling to Canada or to Mexico, you can go to getyouhome.gov to check on the Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative and the travel cards that are available. Or you can use passports for Canada and Mexico, just like all the other countries. You need to make sure that you have your passport before you leave, and that can take up to 2 months. You also want to make sure that if you currently have a passport, it is still valid and not expired. Some countries do require visas, and for those visa requirements, you often need 2 to 3 blank pages in your passport, so you need to make sure that you have those. Visas can take up to 2 months to get, so make sure that you plan ahead for that. In addition to passport and visa requirements, you also want to check on medical requirements because some countries do require proof of certain shots. If you are planning on driving in a foreign country, you also need to check on the international driver's license requirements because some countries do not accept an American driver's license and you can only drive with an international driver's license. If you're planning on traveling with checked luggage, it's a very good idea to book your first hotel for 1 to 2 nights in your arrival city. That way, if your luggage is lost, it will be much easier for the airlines to locate you instead of trying to track you down somewhere in the country and get your luggage to you. Once your travel arrangements are made, it's an excellent idea to look into purchasing travel insurance. That way you're protected against travel delays or cancellations, and you can get a refund on airline tickets or tours that you've already purchased. You might also look into your medical coverage that you have overseas. Some insurance companies do cover overseas mishaps and some do not. That way you know whether or not to add a medical waiver to your travel insurance. As your trip approaches, you want to make sure that you confirm all of your travel arrangements. from the airlines to the hotels to any tours that you're going to take. And even though everything is done electronically now, it's very important to have a printout of your itinerary so you have proof of your purchases. You also want to check on the currency for the country and make sure you know what kind of currency they accept and whether or not you'll be able to get this currency at the airport, since some people will need to pay for taxis right away. If there are not ATMs within the terminal at the airport, look into picking up the foreign currency at a local bank. Now also at the airport, please make sure that you don't get money from ATMs outside where the general public is allowed, because that's where thieves wait for travelers getting money from machines. Now all of these were just basic tips to help you prepare for any kind of travel, whether it's business or pleasure. For a complete planning checklist, be sure to visit clutterdiet.com.